In a few moments, in Shemona Esrei, in Mincha, we're going to add a tefillah called Aneinu. Okay, the Chazan is going to insert it into the bracha of Re'ina v'Aneinu, and we are going to put it in the bracha of Shema Kolenu. And I just want to, since we don't say it so often, and it's not a common tefillah that we say, I'd like to go through the tefillah and discuss it and explain it. It's short tefillah. It's actually very, very powerful. You could take a sitter out and we could learn it together. The Rambam writes in Orchos Tzaddikim that on a fast day like today, a person is supposed to be inspired to do teshuvah. It's not a day of mourning. It's a day of teshuvah, to think about what caused the difficulties that we're in, what caused us to be in the galus. We're in a long exile, disconnected from Hashem, disconnected from our values, disconnected from reality. What caused that? And what could we do to get closer and reconnect with Hashem? This tefillah of Aneinu is in part serves this function to bring us closer to Hashem by davening to Hashem that we want to achieve that closeness. And it starts off with the words Aneinu Hashem Aneini. Hashem, answer us, answer us. We say it 2 times. Answer us, answer us. Why do we do that? It's based on a pasuk. On the pasuk in Malachim Aleph, Perek Yud Ches, pasuk Lamed Zayin, where Eliyahu is in a showdown with the prophets of Baal, trying to show that Hashem is the true king, the true God, and he davens to Hashem to give a sign on Har HaKarmel. And he says, Aneini Hashem Aneini. He says the same thing over there. Hashem, answer me. Hashem, answer me. And the mefarshim explain, the Gemara asks in Brachos, and Daf Tesem at Aleph, why did Eliyahu ask to be answered 2 times? And it says because he was asking that a fire should come down, devour that which is on the Mizbeach, on the altar that was in front of him, to show that Hashem, you're the one. But even after such a magnificent display of Hashem's presence would occur, you might think that maybe Eliyahu is like a sorcerer. He's a magic man. He has some tricks up his sleeve, and he was able to pull something off. So the first Aneini was Eliyahu saying, Hashem, please go ahead and answer me. And the second was let everyone realize that you answered me, and it's not that I'm a magician and I have some tricks and it's some other sorcery that's causing what happened. And the same thing the mefarshim explain, we're saying over here. Aneinu Hashem, Hashem, please answer us where we're in difficulties. We're having, Klal Yisrael is having difficulties. We're having our personal difficulties in the galus. Hashem Aneinu, please answer us. But when you answer us, allow me to remember that the reason I got out of my troubles is because you answered me, and not because of my own effort or my own help that I got from the outside from another human being. Allow me to recognize that it was through my tefillah and it was that you were trying to help me that it occurred. So Aneinu Hashem Aneinu, answer me and let me recognize that it's through the fact that you answered me that I was able to get out of my difficulties. Then we say Biyom tzom tanisenu. On a tzom is translated as a fast day. Tzom, fast. Tanisenu, fast. Again, repetitive. On the day that I fast, an hour fast. What does that mean? So the word tzom, mefarshim explain, if you want to look it up, you can look up the Radak. In Malachim Aleph, Perek Tes, pasuk Tes, the Radak there says that tzom means a gathering. And different things gather together. In the Sefer Shirashim, he also writes, in the name of his father, tzom means a gathering of people. The Gemara in Chulin of Ayin Vav, Amud Aleph says that tzom and Hagidim is where the tendons come together in our body. Or in modern Hebrew, we have a tzomet. A tzomet is an intersection where different cars hopefully don't come together, right? That's something that when 2 things come together, cross over, it's called a tzom. We say that today's a tzom It's not just a fast day. A tzom means that we all gather together. It's a day where the Jewish people have to have achdus. The only way to achieve teshuvah in the greatest way is when we are one. We are a tzom. We are unified. In fact, the Orchos Tzaddikim, under Simcha, he writes that the tefillah in Shmona Esrei, we say, Hashivenu avinu l'toratacha. We say everything in plural, Hashivenu, in plural. We should all do teshuvah. Why? Because we're thinking about everyone, all of Klal Yisrael, friends, people that you're not so friendly with. We should all come back towards Hashem. And he says, when you think that, you have that in mind, when you say the words Hashivenu, you actually fulfill the mitzvah of V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor, love your friends, love other members of Jewish people that maybe aren't necessarily your friends, because we're doubting for everyone to come together. So today is a day that we have to try to drop our issues with other people, try to unify, and that's what a tzom really is. We are all together. So it's a yom tzom, it's a day of gathering, tanitenu, that we also are fasting. Because we're in a very, very difficult state. We're having all our troubles and our challenges personally and universally. Hashem, please, we need you to answer us. And then we go ahead and we make 6 requests. And the 6 requests, all in ascending order, are describing an added level of closeness between us and Hashem. Let's go through each one. The first one, Al Teifen El Rishenu. Hashem, don't pay attention to our Rishenu, our evil ways. We all make mistakes, we all do things wrong. Hashem, please don't pay attention to that. Look at us as good people. That's how we want you to relate to us. Al Teifen El Rishenu. Don't look at our evil ways. That's one. 2, Va'al Taster Panecha Mimenu. Even if you don't look at our evil ways, right? Sometimes, someone does something wrong to you, so you don't pay attention to his evil ways, but you also don't pay attention to him. I'm not going to hang out with you. Okay, it's not going to bother me what you did, but we're not going to be so close. So, don't turn your head away from me. It's not enough, Hashem, that I don't want you to look at my bad ways. I still want you to look at me. I still want you to have that relationship with me. Number 3, Va'altis aleim mitchinasenu. A person could ignore someone's evil ways. A person could look at the person face to face, but they still might not answer them if the person makes a request. We're saying, Hashem, we want you not to look at our bad ways, continue to look at us straight, and please listen to us. Listen to us. Shma koleinu. Listen to our voice. Number 4, Heyeina karov l'shavasenu. Sometimes someone wants to ask you something. Okay, you're a really amazing person. You didn't look at his bad ways. You looked at him in the face, and you even said that he could send you an email. Leave a message. But you're not close. Here we say to Hashem, Heyeina karov l'shavasenu. Yes, we asked you in our 3rd request to listen to us. Listen to us closely. Panim el panim, face to face. Stay in front of us. 5, Yihi chastecha lenachamenu. Okay, Hashem, you're amazing. You didn't look at our evil ways. You looked at us in the face. You didn't ignore us. You listened to us, and you even listened to us closely. But guess what? I still feel really guilty for all the things that I did. I know you're saying you don't care, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel good. Hashem, comfort us. Allow us to feel in your kindness that it's okay. It's okay what we did. And then comes number 6, which is the closest level. Terem nikra elecha Anenu. Hashem, we ask you, before we even call out to you, please answer us. Hashem, you know what I'm thinking? Before I even ask you to help me with this issue, with that issue, please answer me. But there's a problem with that request. Okay, we even bring a pasuk to prove that it's okay to do that. Kadavar shene'amar, the pasuk in Yeshayahu, Perek Samachei, pasuk of Dalid, Vaya terem yikra'u v'ani aneh. The Navi is praising Hashem's relationship with the Jewish people, that Hashem answers us even if we don't ask Him. He gives us things even before we ask. Wow, what an amazing thing. What's the problem with that? There's a Gemara. The Gemara says in Maseches Tainis and Daf Chaf Hey Amud Beis that there was a lack of rain, there was a drought. So Shmuel HaKatan decreed a fast day. The fast day so that everyone could do teshuvah, hopefully rain will fall. And rain fell before sunrise. Before they even gathered together to daven, the rain came down. So the people in the community were ecstatic. Wow, look how chashuv we are. Look how great we are. We didn't even start asking, and the rain came down. We're so amazing. But Shmuel HaKatan said, no, I'm going to give you a mashal, I'll give you a parable. This is similar to a situation where a slave who comes to request reward from his master, food, livelihood, and the master says to his servants, other servants, give him what he asks for. I don't even want to hear his voice. I don't even want him to come and ask me for the thing. Just give it to him. I had enough of him already. When Hashem gives us things before we ask, that's not a good thing. That's because He doesn't want to have a relationship with us. Like the Mei HaShilach explains, what was the curse of the snake, the Nachash? Got a curse. What was his curse? That he would sliver around on the floor and he'd be able to eat everything on the ground. That's a curse. That's a bracha. That's amazing. You never have to go to work one day in your life. You have everything you ever need right in front of you. He doesn't want hamburgers. He likes dirt. It's good for him. So why is that a curse? So the Mei HaShilach explains it's a curse because the snake would never need to ask God for anything because he'd have everything he wants. When you're spoiled, you don't need Hashem. Hashem's giving it to you saying, I don't want to have a relationship with you. I never want you to come ask me for anything. And that's what this Gemara is saying. It wasn't because the community was good. The community was bad. To the extent that Hashem gave it to them without even coming to shul because He didn't want to hear from them. So what does it mean? At our 6th level, the closest we are going to be to Hashem, we say, Hashem, terem nikra ilech Aneinu. Hashem, answer us even before we call out to you. Isn't that a bad thing? Shouldn't we want to call out to Hashem, to have that relationship with Him? So in the 1500s, there was a Rav named Rabbi Eliyahu ben Chaim. I had a friend actually by that name. He lived from the years 1530 to 1613. And his Drashos Maranach on Parsha Shmini, he says the following. How do you explain this pasuk that says that Hashem answers us before we call out? And that's a good thing. With this Gemara that makes it sound like it's a bad thing. And he says it depends on the level that a person is on. When a parent loves their kids so much and they know them so well, and then you come home from work, you come home from school one day, and sitting on your pillow, all wrapped up, is that thing that you wanted for so long. You didn't even ask your parents about it, but they knew that you wanted it. They surprised you. They initiated by giving it to you because they loved you so much. That shows a closeness that you have with the person that gives you with the present. At our 6th request over here, we're saying to Hashem, yes, it's true. Those people in the times of Shmuel HaKatan, they were on a low level to the extent that Hashem didn't want a relationship with them. Don't call out to me. The snake, Hashem says, I don't want a relationship with you. Don't call out to me. But we want you, Hashem, to look at us, our good. Don't look at our bad. Look at us straight. Answer our tefillah. Answer it close. Comfort us that everything is okay and we're good people and you love us and that you're so close to us that you give things to us even before we ask. We're climbing a ladder of sinning, rasha, evil, all the way to a super close, intense relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He even gives us things before we come to ask Him because He loves us so much. And as we say this tefillah in our Shemona Esrei, we have to try to think about us ascending this ladder, getting closer to Hashem, translating that into the way we treat other people. There are people in the world that maybe have wronged us, did things that aren't necessarily the best to us. Can we also not look at their rishus? Can we also look at them in the face and listen to them and fulfill their wishes and even do it closely and even comfort them and tell them that it's okay, don't worry about it, and maybe even initiate and do good things to them before they even ask? Can we do that? That what you're asking Hashem to do for us? If we're able to do that, and we're able to create the tzom, create the unity, the intersection of the entire Jewish people as one, we'll be zocheh that Hashem is going to answer us as we end off the tefillah, that Hashem is podeh u'matzil. Hashem saves us from all of our difficulties, and we'll be able to enjoy that closeness with Hashem without all the distractions and all the challenges that our gullus brings.